moving on to 16-bit now. We're talking about save games.
Yeah.
This was a big plus, and Sega never really capitalised on this. The cartridges having save functions inside.
I really don't think this isn't like a weakness on the Sega machine. It's just something they didn't do as much for whatever reason. I couldn't tell you why, but save functions back in the day, as far as I understand it, were to do with having batteries on the cartridge. It's nothing to do with the console.
Oh no, no, but it's to do with the console's library, the consoles.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
I'm saying like it is a benefit that more SNES games had save games, but I just don't really understand why Sega didn't put them in as much. I guess maybe it's to do with the fact they felt that their game should be completed in one go.
That's fair enough. I mean, it makes sense.
Really think of.
Sonic 3 made sense though.
Yeah.
When it reached that era in Sonic, it was kind of like...
At least they started to do it then.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the RPGs Sega made had save games as well.
I mean, when we get to the 16-bit thing, it's a lot. This is when the competition really heats up.
Now, Sega were really putting their finger on the heat button with Nintendo with the advertising. Nintendo, I think, took a step back. It wasn't until the N64 when they went full on with that.
A bit aggressive. So if we look at the consoles, I mean, the SNES is undoubtedly the more powerful.
Let's look at the birth of Sega and those early games, because you got to remember, Sonic wasn't out right away.
Yeah.
There were two games that
was out
really helped the Mega Drive. Castle of Illusion being one. Yeah. That was a big name, a big icon thrown on, and Nintendo didn't have Mickey till a lot later, so that was one big icon there, and the game was solid.
Yeah, it's decent.
That was a solid, nice play for
our Let's Play.
And there was which was the other game that was there was like another big game that was kind of massive and kept Sega. There were two. There was Castle of Illusion, which was over $1 million so, and there was another really big game. What was that?
I'm not really sure.
Before Sonic there.
A lot of games that came out at the time, like Altered Beast was a big one that helped sell it to an American audience. I know that much. I'm not sure exactly which one you're thinking of.
Anyway, if you know it, comment. But anyway, yeah, there were a few of them, but there were two big ones. There was Mickey and something else. But
I mean, it's hard to talk about the 16-bit without talking about Sonic, and this is really the Sonic Mario rivalry. This is where it exists in this era.
It isn't just Sonic. Sonic had to face off a lot from Nintendo. It wasn't just Mario. It was Donkey Kong and more Kirby games. And it was just Sonic. You know, I know they had Ristar, but Ristar isn't as strong as Donkey Kong. In my opinion, anyway.
I think Sega, outside of Sonic, the main selling point for their console was the fact that it was based off the same hardware as their arcade boards at the time, so their arcade conversions were top notch, absolutely the best you could get at the time. So, and that's obviously a big deal. You have a good version of all these awesome games that you've played in the arcade, the big names. That's going to really help sell your console.
Yeah, I think Outrun was on the Mega Drive. I never really
Outrun, Afterburner, Then you look at other ones like Golden Axe,
Super Hang-On,
Streets of Rage, Super Hang-On. So many, it's almost endless.
It's weird.
And then also they had the partnership with EA. So even though those sports games now are kind of crummy to go back and play, those games at the time were big, a big deal. Sega had the better sports games.
And let's talk about franchises and movie franchises and other outside third-party things as well. Disney, for example. Sega made the Disney games on one machine. Capcom made the Nintendo ones, which is an interesting twist. And each game was completely different on each machine. The Mickey, I think Mickey Mania was the NES one. Castle of Illusion and World of Illusion series on the other side. Aladdin, Lion King, they were all different. Jungle Book, they all had their own things going on each machine. And even the Master System had the weaker version of the Mega Drive versions as well. It kind of, whereas NES was cancelled out by Nintendo.
This was a big era for licenses, I think. Especially because those Disney games were surprisingly good.
They were brilliant. Up until the PlayStation era, they were
don't really care about Disney, but I can't argue with the quality of games like Aladdin and
Sega made them. You've got to remember that's Sega's work. It's not Disney's.
Well, Aladdin was on both. I think Lion King and that.
Aladdin was Capcom on one and Sega on the other. Everyone loves both versions. That's the thing. Both versions are really, really good. I mean, but
such a good. I mean, these aren't games that will make my top 5 later. Just spoiler, I guess. But this is for me the closest of all of the two battles. It's so hard to choose. I mean, they both have so much going for them, and then on the SNES as well, you've got fucking awesome RPGs as well. Secrets of Mana and Chrono
Trigger. Zelda is probably, in my opinion, one of the best Zeldas.
I could do a top 5 RPGs on the SNES alone to make it. And
I mean, Sega still had the Fantasy Stars, but there wasn't really enough when it came to RPGs. And Chrono Trigger.
I would say
Chrono Trigger.
I did say Chrono Trigger.
Did you say Chrono Trigger? Such an amazing game.
Fantasy Star 4 64 and the Shining Force series are definitely...
The Final Fantasy series.
Yeah.
You can play that. Did you?
I'm pretty sure I did anyway.
It's in my mind if you did, yeah.
But, yeah, like, there's edges it on RPGs, but then, this
the thing is, the platformers are tricky because there's Sonic, and there's Ristar's good, but...
Ristar's amazing,
if we had a tag team of Sonic and Ristar versus Mario and Donkey Kong, I think Mario and Donkey Kong would edge that just because of that double team is just...
It's good, but I wouldn't say that I like Donkey Kong more than Ristar. Not
really?
A long way, no. He's more of an icon. I think Ristar's a better game than Donkey Kong Country, maybe the first one.
Fair enough.
I think Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 are actually better games than Donkey Kong Country, though.
Oh, so your favourite Donkey Kong versus Ristar? I mean,
it's difficult, but like Ristar is, it might not have been a massive franchise or whatever, but I think it's an amazing game that deserves to stand along Sonic, even if it wasn't.
Oh, sure. And many people would say favourite Mario on the Super Nintendo, they would say Mario World. For me, Mario All Stars. I know it's a trick, but yeah.
I probably I won't go for that just because it's a little bit cheap because they're not. I'm going to go for games that are exclusive.
Oh, fair enough. Well, even then though, you got to look at the Mario All Star versions. There were better graphics. Everything was updated. It was
but for me, that's my reason why I won't use it.
That's
you
fair
can
enough.
do what you want.
No, that's fair enough.
So should we jump into it? Our top fives. I mean, I think you should lead this time, same as I did last time.
All right, fair enough.
Go with
Nintendo, I guess. I'm gonna list those. Right. This is very tricky.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, just off the top of your head.
Zelda, Link to the Past. Obviously, it was just an amazing RPG, sword and shield, running around. Fucking shut up, it's good fun. Those great little temples in there, and it was nice. Save the princess and everything. It was
What
good
more
fun.
can you really say about that game that hasn't already been said?
I know you said you preferred Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, but that first one, the soundtrack...
More iconic, I'll give you that.
And it has Donkey Kong in it, let's be fair, It has that great intro with Cranky Kong, and you just go in and it's...
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it back in the day. I kind of feel like our recent playthrough has sullied the memory slightly a little bit, but it's still a good game.
Now, I feel really hard. It's really because I'm going to miss a lot of great games out here.
Well, that's inevitable.
You're probably going to agree with me on this one. I'll probably jump in your one too. Mario Kart.
Yeah.
The first Mario Kart. It was wonderful.
My favourite Mario Kart.
It was, for me it's... I'll go into that later.
Borderline with the Game Boy Advance one, actually. I really like that 2D kind of style.
I'm amazed that you didn't say with the N64 one. But
the N64 one is just behind.
Oh.
I don't really know why. Maybe it's because I have more memories of playing the Mario Kart, and I actually owned the GBA one when it was new.
When
so
you
I
got
played the shit out of that.
Two pads thrown in.
Yeah.
You do your little Grand Prix and all that. You can play the whole game together if you want to, and it's just fun. It's just one of the original.
Hard to argue.
Yeah, and okay. After that, how many have I listed? 3 now?
3.
Okay.
Three.
I said Mario All Stars, but I've already said Mario 3, so I'm not going to say Mario All Stars. But I am going to say Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. I know that's an interesting one, but it was kind of like Sonic Colors in the way that you have the little gimmicks that change Mario into little things running through the dirt and all that.
Honestly, I prefer it to the first Mario World as well.
Yeah, it's just a classic. I really, really enjoy that game, and I really want them to put it on a 3DS or something so I can play it again.
It deserves more. It deserves more than it's getting.
There is a new Yoshi game coming out.
Yes, the year of Yoshi next year.
I'm looking forward to that.
Maybe we'll get it then.
We will. There's been screenshots released of this new Yoshi.
I know. I mean, maybe we'll get the Mario World 2.
They're not putting SNES games on that damn thing yet. That's the thing. It's still on NES and. But anyway,
you're talking about 3DS.
So
carry on. That's 4. One more of all the games.
Damn. Right. I'm trying to think of what I'm currently missing out on here. This is very tricky choosing a final Nintendo game.
I know, it's hard.
Probably.
No pressure.
I know. There was one game I used to play a lot, long after Nintendo was cool. I used to. I can't remember what it was called. I'll tell you what, I loved a lot of those movie franchise games back then as well. And there's one in particular I'm completely skipping on, but it was so fucking cool. I'm going to name something else.
That's probably for the best. It's just off the top of your head, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
That's the main thing.
Probably Probably I think Kirby's Dream Land 2. I think it was. There was a Kirby's
Superstar. Maybe?
Kirby's Superstar with the cooperative thing.
Yeah,
and that was
racing.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly, but there's definitely Kirby.
Actually, no, not that one. Kirby's Dream Course. I know that's a weird one
with the
it's
golfy.
I really enjoyed that. It was a quirky,
crazy
little game. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
Marble Madness-esque.
Yeah, it was Kirby, so it was more fun. Had that iconic character.
So for me, my list is going to actually be quite different to yours.
I can imagine. But I feel one of those games is
I'm going to put Mario Kart in first just to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Because we've already covered it.
Sure.
So
actually, no, I'm going to save for mine F-Zero
instead
of Kirby.
Yeah. Fair. So Mario Kart. I'm going to say Secret of Mana. Me and Joe have been playing that.
Sure. Nice little RPG, that.
I never played it back in the day, but it's now one of my favourite RPGs, and this list is going to be RPG heavy. I'm just going to tell you now.
Yeah, I wish I said Chrono Trigger. Yes, I forgot about Chrono Trigger.
Secret of Mana is great. It's so unique. The fact that it's like a cooperative RPG, and I love the characters in the world. Like the story isn't the best thing ever, but you get very involved in the art and the journey of it, which is the main thing. I'll say Chrono Trigger because you missed it out.
Yeah, sure.
Just like one of the best RPGs ever made. Like you can. What more can you say about it? Like,
it was underrated. In my opinion, it beats most Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Aside from two of them.
Well, it beats most Final Fantasy games. I don't know if it beats the next one on my list, which is Final Fantasy 6.
6 for me. I loved 3. Funnily enough, I think it was 3. It was one.
I think 3 was 6 in the UK. I'm calling it 6 because it's known as 6, but I think it was 3. Some women known as
possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, but awesome game. Like again, another one I've only played more recently, as are all these RPGs actually. But for me, this is like the strength of the SNES was these great RPGs, and 6. I just love the characters are just amazing, and I guess it's the feel the game creates. It's got this kind of melancholy atmosphere, it's sort of happy / sad at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know, and the sense of dread always like running through it. It's such a hard thing to replicate, and it's got a soundtrack maybe even better than 7's. Hard to say. And then my last game, I know it's neither of us has said Mario World, and it is a great game.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That in there, it's not quite making the list. Super Metroid, my favourite Metroid.
Fair enough.
Awesome atmosphere. It's just such a perfect non-linear progression, but you don't tend to feel lost. You always kind of feel like you're going somewhere and you're doing stuff, and you figure things out for yourself, so you feel clever, and just absolutely perfect game.
No, I'd say that's a good list. In fact, if I had a top 10, I'd probably have those 5 in the second half. But
so Mega Drive, then. Top 5 Mega Drive.
Well,
Genesis.
It's obvious. Probably the best 16-bit game in my opinion, Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, it's
one of the best games ever made in my opinion.
I mean, I'm going to limit my list to just one Sonic game, just for the sake of diversity.
Now, the other games, you're going to completely disagree with a lot of them, but
yeah. You're probably going to have a lot of franchise, I think. In there.
I totally am. This was the decade of franchise for Mega Drive, and they had. This game I'm going to set up with the advert. Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah.
And it finishes the advert with Michael Jackson moonwalking. And you think, fuck, at the time he was damn cool. Who cares about his later years? At the time he was a damn cool pop star.
Property, yeah.
And Sega had an exclusive.
Yeah.
And he had his own game.
In a game that didn't suck.
So yeah, even you could, after seeing me play it a few more times, you kind of.
Well, it's not my favourite game ever, but I like
the arcade version was a lot better. It was a lot different, but I loved the Mega Drive one anyway. It's probably nostalgia. But I thought it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And that's going to get a lot of hate, a lot of dislike, but fuck it, I think that's a cool game. Another game. These are probably the only 2 franchise games. Castle of Illusion. It's what kept Mega Drive afloat. Probably it's what kept them alive up until Sonic came out.
Well, I wouldn't say like it was the only thing keeps them alive, but it was a big hit.
It was pumping a lot of money into Sega's wallet. And I love the whole fact that you pick it up and play it I can play it once every 4 months and complete it and then stop and... It's just amazing. The HD version was quite good as well, but I love that classic 16-bit version.
Really
and a lot of people, I've been reading into this, that a lot of people prefer the Master System version, which is something I'm going to have to look into.
Maybe do a play of that one day.
I'd like to. I'll even say, actually, I know this is a bit cheeky, I've never even played Quackshot, but if one cartridge has both of them in, fuck it, let's see it. We might as well say that.
Yeah.
So there's those 3 so far?
That's 3, yeah, you're on 3.
I'm not going to name any more Sonic games, I don't think. I want to, but I like to spread this out.
That's the way I'm going to go.
Let me think about this. This is very tricky. Probably Forgotten Worlds.
You do like that game?
That multiplayer, that wasn't multiplayer on the Sega SNES,
no,
but I can swear on the Mega Drive version
yeah,
is, because
sure,
I remember those memories of. It's a bizarre game.
Just a flying army rip-off, basically.
Big muscly guys swinging around a ball that fires ammo.
You're not really sure why you're flying. Is it a jetpack,
how they fly or whatever else.
It's
a crazy game, but it's so.
But it's cool because you can shoot in all directions around you, and you're flying around.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a mix between a run and gun game and like a spaceship game.
It's so freaking fun. Now that's four so far.
So there's one more.
I'm going to give some honourable mentions out at the moment before I list number 5.
Just a quick.
Robocop versus Terminator. I've always wanted to get into it. I can't, but it's very replayable.
It's a good
I don't
idea.
know why. Yeah, exactly. You want to see these big icons face off, so that's one right there. I think another honourable mention obviously goes to Sonic 1 and 2. If Free and Knuckles never existed, they would be in there, without a doubt. Maybe even the spin-off, Sonic 3D wasn't bad. Sonic Spinball wasn't bad. They weren't exactly good either, but they get an honourable mention.
Fair.
And Italia 90.
Just for the memories.
Just for the memories, and it's still fun to play today. With all this FIFA and all this taking it seriously with the good graphics, you play a Sabutio type football game running around, and
it's hilarious, let's be honest.
And it's fun. I think it's a fun game to play.
So what's the actual number 5?
So tricky, but I'm going to have to say, bit of a shocker here, but I'm going to actually probably go for...
You always do this with the 5th one.
I know.
Just do the first thing that comes to your head. That's the best way to do it.
Shinobi 3.
Shinobi. So I have to say that's probably going to end up on my list as well.
Shinobi 3. I love that forest level to begin with. The elevator bit pisses me off, but I kind of still like it anyway.
I got that elevator bit down.
Oh, it's classic. Shinobi fun.
The surfing with that. Yeah,
it's so good. So yeah, that's my 5. Okay. It was very hard to do.
So I've got 2 that are the same as yours. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. For me, the best platform ever made.
Obviously,
possibly the best game ever made. Absolutely perfect in flow and length, in music, in graphics.
Let me ask you a question about Sonic 3. If it never existed, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, would you be saying the same thing about Sonic 2 or Sonic 1 now, do you think?
I think Sonic 1 and 2 are, just only just shy of that sort of quality. So, probably, I love those games.
Of course.
A lot. So
I didn't really discuss why I like Sonic 3.
And Sonic CD as well, which I'm not really, don't really get into the add-ons because that will, of the Mega Drive, because that will just add more.
Let's discuss Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I didn't elaborate on that much, and I really should have done. It had more of a structured story to it, let's be fair.
It's got what I think is the best example of a story in that kind of video game, because it doesn't do a lot of story, and the story is all pretty much told through the actual game itself, which is the main thing. So even though the story is simple and it's all cartoony, you can still, because you're playing it, so you're in the story. That's a unique thing, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles had this down, and the level progression, it's just everything about that game is just so good. The flow of it is amazing.
Let's not forget gameplay styles. Each character does its own little thing, has its own roots.
Changes it up just ever so slightly. They all feel familiar yet slightly different. So it's a very cool
Speaking
game.
of Sonic, I want to throw an honourable mention. I know it doesn't really count, but Sonic CD. Sonic CD has to be in there somewhere, somehow. If it could count, it would probably be my
second favourite of the 16 bits, I would say. Over 1 and 2. Yeah.
I would prefer over 1 and 2 as well.
Especially
with the great special stage.
The upgraded HD version is just perfect.
Oh yeah, and it looks awesome. It looks awesome as well.
Both soundtracks as well, as good as each
it's
other.
Hard. For me, it's the American one just for nostalgia thing. But I do love that
Japanese one just because it's amazing.
And that creepy boss music in the American one. What's with that American version? It just has really random kind of music, but it's scary and fun and creepy and.
Also on my list, the same as yours, so Shinobi 3.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Shinobi. I love just about every one of the games, the Shinobi games. But this one is the best Shinobi by far. I love it. It's just, I know it's hard, but it's not too hard. It's got great music. The graphics are awesome.
There's fun horse levels as well.
The horse levels and the little gimmicky levels are great, and the bosses are great, and the music. I think I said the music already, but and
it looks nice.
What I like about it is you're a ninja, and this is the great thing about all of the Shinobi games, that you're a ninja, but you're in sort of the near sci-fi future. It's a weird blend.
Which was kind of brought in on the 3DS one. much later down the line.
I'm not overly keen on that one.
Neither am I, but for a $5 you can't complain.
True. So, also, I would say Ecco the Dolphin, a very love or hate kind of game.
I wanted to say that, but
so
I never really progressed too far, so I'm like, I like
it's hard as fuck, that game, but it has passwords at least.
Well, it's always Echo Junior.
Yeah.
That's not.
But no, it's got an amazing soundtrack, amazing atmosphere. It's so unique. The puzzles are cool. The world is cool. It's just nothing. The only thing that's like Ecco the Dolphin is Ecco the Dolphin 2, you know.
Well, it's even when it went to 3D with the Dreamcast, it started that challenge.
Yeah, exactly. I love
the
the 3 Ecco the Dolphin games they made, not including Ecco Junior. All awesome.
Oh, Ecco Junior for the kids, come on. Everyone has their own little Ecco. Yes. If they tried to play with the adult ones, they wouldn't understand it, and it'd be a pointless game.
So yeah, that's free. So now it gets trickier. Now we're down to it. Fuck man, it's just so many. Have a look at my games.
I wanted to do that.
No, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care.
I think I'm going to throw in an honourable mention.
Stop throwing in honourable mentions.
While you're looking at your games, I'm going to throw in ones you're probably not going to mention. Taz is good fun. Carry on.
So, so many good games. It's so hard to choose.
All right.
So I'm going to say.
You're going to say Bob's the
Rocket Knight Adventures. It's a game I've been getting into again lately, and it's hard as fuck, but really cool, really fun. It's
you're not going to
mix with anime and sort of steampunk. And
you see, I never played this game.
Yeah, it's so good, man.
I'm surprised you haven't said Ristar. Are you going to say Ristar? Do you reckon? Or?
It's tough. I was thinking about Ristar, but then I'm thinking
arcades games like Outrun or Super Hang-On.
No, what I'm thinking is I haven't got any scrolling fighters in there. But then what do you put? Golden Axe or Streets of Rage?
Well, for me, there's one game you're also forgetting: a puzzle game like Columns.
Columns is good, but it's not gonna get in the top 5.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna say Golden Axe. I'm going to go Golden Axe 1 because it's got the better song. That's really
I'm more of a Streets of Rage guy personally, but I do like it.
It's very tough, but they have that kind of mindless, fun scroller fighting thing down to a T.
Another one which was really good. It was the Power Rangers one. That was actually really fun. It's not the movie.
We haven't mentioned a lot of great scrollers because this was a great era for it.
This comes to an end, and we have to choose a favourite.
You can go first, seeing as that's the pattern.
I was going to go for Mega Drive until we just started talking about the RPGs, the longevity of it. So I think
that's fair.
Nintendo games just have more of a stretch of life before you complete them. Like Donkey Kong will last longer than Sonic and Ristar, and there's 3 of them. And there's the Mario's.
Maybe in terms of length, but not in terms of how much I'll play them. But
sure,
yeah.
but the games will just last longer. Yeah, and I quite like that. I mean, I love frickin' Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but there were just far more platformers on the NES of great quality as well, you know, or the SNES rather. But for that reason, just
I don't
because
think
there
you
was
can really get this wrong. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
There was great quality on both consoles, but there was more quantity and quality on the Super Nintendo, and that's why I'm probably going to go for that. Although I frickin' love the Mega Drive and the Moonwalker and the Mickey and the Sonic and all that, and the Lion King, all those Disney games. In my opinion, the Disney games were better on the Sega than they were the Capcom versions, but the Capcom versions were still kick-ass.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's my answer.
I think it's kind of obvious at this point that I'm going to say Mega Drive. It's what I grew up with. It's kind of responsible for me being into gaming.
Sure.
So it's very hard to... Even talking objectively and ignoring all of that, it's just Sega at their almost peak. Something I'll get into later. But it's just... I love the all killer, no filler kind of approach to gaming that it is. Like that comes from the arcade roots, and it's all about just awesome, fast-paced action games, and just there's just so much. Like I still constantly play my Mega Drive. I whack it out like it's something that I was always finding new reasons to love those games.
Sure.
So, like I said, no wrong answer. I love the SNES. There's so many good games, RPGs especially. I really like, but Mega Drive wins.
I've got a question, just to ask them, because it's a just close call for you.
Yeah.
But you see, I had both the SNES, the NES, and the Master System, but I skipped that second generation. Well, I had those consoles while the second generation were out at that time, and the third generation. But anyway, if it was a SNES instead of a Mega Drive you were given back then, would the answer be different?
That is like an impossible question to answer.
Sure.
Because I think I think what you grow up with influences your tastes and what you like forever. So this is probably, the reason I grew up with a Mega Drive and all these games is probably a lot of the reason why my gaming tastes are the way they are today. But I'm thankful for that.
Oh, sure. But if say, for example, you were given on that fateful Christmas morning that young Jason was given a Super Nintendo with Mario Kart and Yoshi's Island or whatever.
I do say the same, but like, how can you tell? That's like an impossible question to answer.
I mean, in all fairness, ask me tomorrow, I might even say Mega Drive. Yeah. It's just I'm in more of a SNES kind of state of mind at the moment. Yeah. And to be fair, I haven't played a SNES in a long time. That kind of makes who am I.
So
drives me more into it. But anyway,
moving on.